It went back. See, it does that.
Yeah.
So it's fine now.
Your recording's paused.
Setting up for your stress. Yeah. Okay, I think we're live. We're live somewhere anyway. I'm not sure where we're live, but let's check. I'm just curious. Are we actually live somewhere? Um, yeah, I think we are. Ooh, look, we are live somewhere. And it's paused, but that's okay. What I have to do is mute this. This is just going to take a second. Sorry for the clumsiness. Ah, there we go. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night with John and Brian. John's obviously not here, but I got my daughter Stevie here, who's going to chime in. We're going to talk about her wedding in a little bit. But the topic tonight, I guess, is what do mobile DJs do? What is our job? And it's kind of funny because when you think about, let me get the mic a little closer. Well, I don't want to goof you up. Okay, so, all right, yeah, we can go. Can you hear me okay? Yeah? Just say something in the room if you can. That'd be really cool. Anyway, um, you would think we just go play music, right? That would be our job title. We're mobile, we're DJs. DJs play music, so we travel with our things, go places and play music, but there's a lot of other things that we do, especially if we are wedding DJs. For instance, I'm building timelines for the whole event. I'm chilling out the customer. I am doing weirdo things now, like directing wedding ceremonies, which is why Stevie's here, because she kind of created a monster with that. I did it for hers, and then I've done it two other times after that. So it's your fault that I'm doing this now.
Well, for me, it's just because I wrote my ceremony like 2 days before we did this because I didn't care.
Okay, just so you know, Stevie got married August 31st.
Yes.
Okay, and I was told at Christmas time, find a DJ, and that's all we want you to do is stay out of it. I mean, why would you want to ask me about how to do wedding things? Of all people, I would have no idea how to do this, right? So she told me to stay out of it. She's doing it. Fine, whatever. I'm just going to get the DJ. Got Wavy Davy to do it. He was gracious enough to take care of that for us. And I thought I was done. Well, it didn't work out, did it?
Well, not exactly. I mean, I kind of just last minute, I was like, I'm out. Everybody else make the decisions. I don't want to do this anymore. Like, I don't want to make the decisions anymore. So I kind of like let you lead and let my mom take over. My mom went crazy at the end and like, yeah.
Less than 2 weeks out, I kind of did it.
Yeah, because I needed to write a timeline and I tried doing it for like 2 days and I couldn't do it. And my mom was like on my butt for it. So
Yeah, well, we made it happen though, and it worked. It worked. And then, um, so nobody gets married in the church anymore. I mean, nobody in my market anyway. Everybody has somebody else marry them. Sometimes it's inefficient. I mean, that's their job. They go around and they marry people. And it's just a person. They're not like really a person at a church or anything. They're just ordained. So sometimes online they get ordained and they perform wedding ceremonies. Well, now everybody wants to have a friend marry them, and their friend gets ordained by something.com, which is what my kid did with her godmother, who is a dear friend of mine. I've known her since we were kids. Now, okay, the reason she did that, I think,
mm-hmm.
I think the reason she did that, and it's weird, but okay, so my son-in-law is half Greek, and I say half Greek because he's half Greek.
Yeah.
He's not full Greek. They say I'm Greek. It's like no, you're half Greek. So he's half Greek, and nobody who's Greek Orthodox will touch this. Like they don't want anything to do with it, right?
Yeah, and he isn't really Greek Orthodox anymore, but
his family is.
Yeah.
But his family is Greek Orthodox. They wanted a ceremony that represented Greek Orthodox and just regular old English speaking American non-denominational stuff, right?
Yeah.
Right? America.
Yeah.
America. Okay, so
traditional Christian is what we found out as.
So my friend Cheryl, although she is half Puerto Rican, half German, she married a Greek guy and they now live in Thessaloniki, Greece.
Yeah.
So she speaks Greek. So I didn't know this was even happening. Nobody told me this. I found out that Cheryl was getting ordained, coming to the wedding and performing the wedding ceremony.
Yep.
And she did. She got ordained. She came. The problem was she'd never done this before. So we're at the rehearsal, and I'm waiting for the rehearsal to happen, and nobody's doing anything. So
Well,
I'm
we
like,
were arranging the room for like way longer than we planned to because my mom was like freaking out about there not being enough chairs. It turned out
right,
being like a huge empty spot because of
yeah,
that, and like we had no room to walk to the aisle, but like we had enough chairs. But like I think we just didn't know where to start. I wrote the ceremony out and like kind of was trying to give her a cheat sheet, but
yeah.
it wasn't enough to like get the ball rolling.
Well, no, I mean, she did fine. Her part was fine. But there's that other part where you got to figure out how it all happens,
Where people line up,
where they line
stuff,
up, how they
yeah.
come down, what the cues are, the rehearsal, right? I mean, the performance of the ceremony is one thing, but organizing
The recession,
a bunch of the wedding parties and another thing, right? I mean, that's
yeah.
we found that out quick.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd never really put much
No
thought into it, but I'm standing there and I'm like, okay, I guess I'm probably the guy who should probably step in and tell people what to do. So I did.
Yeah, you did, and like it worked. It worked a lot better, and like we ran through it twice. People knew where to line up.
Yeah.
There was only one like mishap. Two people like were like we weren't okay. So like the best man is marrying like he's engaged to one of my bridesmaids, but he ended up with the maid of honor, going back and forth, and I just didn't argue with it because I was like, I don't have the energy anymore.
No,
and
but
they didn't complain. They were fine.
That's how it's supposed to be.
But we were gonna do it the other way, and like I didn't care in the end.
It worked out. Now that's how it's supposed to work. But anyway, your best man and maid of honor is supposed to stand together. That's how it works.
Yeah, I know, but we were just gonna do it the
You
other
were gonna
way.
be difficult.
We were trying to be accommodating.
Well, accommodating would be just to leave it alone and let that stuff happen. What do I know? But anyway, it worked out.
Yeah.
But there were things that I didn't take into consideration because I never really directed a wedding ceremony before. And I learned from this. This was a learning experience for me. Stevie, do you remember when we were ready to come in?
Mm-hmm.
What happened?
The kids started screaming.
There was a meltdown.
Yeah, my flower girl, she's just turned 2 now, and she had a meltdown, and it took a lot. Like I kept telling people like, just let her go, like let her go to her mom, and like people like weren't doing it.
Well, there was no one available, so okay.
Yeah, there was
the wedding
one
party
there.
walks in, right? They walk in, and then Stevie and I are last. I had to go out and get her out of her mom's van because nobody was supposed to see her. And so we get there, we're like at the back, right? And then there's supposed to be, in your ultimate wisdom, you pick like little kids with psychological issues to be the.
No, this is what I did.
Okay.
I picked an older flower girl and a younger flower girl, an older ring bearer and a younger ring bearer. Because my thought was you got someone older to get the younger one down the aisle. And if the younger one bows out, you still got someone to do it. That was my thought. I was doing my best. I am 21. Do not have that much life experience.
Okay, so what happens is the older kids are gone. They've already done it. And now we've got these secondaries in the wing, right? And we're standing there ready to walk in. And we had to work out my arm because it's goofy. You know, how you going to hold it, all that. And we're just hoping this all goes well because we'd planned all this. And we're standing there, and there's a little girl screaming hysterically.
Her mom finally gets her. And
Oh, no, but there's more. There's more.
Yeah.
There's a little boy dragging her around by the arm, like ready to dislocate her shoulder.
They're cousins, so they're like bullying each other.
Like this is like child abuse stuff happening in front of us. And the little boy looks at me and says, "I can't do this. I can't do this." And they're playing her intro music. It's time to go in for that. And I'm like, "Can somebody help us?" And somebody finally came out.
Her mom came and got her.
Finally, yeah, because the mom was more concerned about getting pictures, I'm sure. She was in place for that to get the cute pictures of the kid. But in the meantime, There's not a kid wrangler.
Yeah. Well, and then the little boy and the little ring bearers went down together.
Yeah, that was
Yeah,
fine.
that went fine. He was being
But
good.
these two little
I
little
forgot
bitty
to tell him,
kids.
though.
Yeah.
It was cute.
So anyway, it went all right, and I want to talk more about your wedding soon.
Okay.
Later on here. But what I want to just say is it was a learning experience for me. I had never done anything like this, and some things happened at her wedding that I didn't know I was going to be directing until the night before at the rehearsal that I learned from. So to make a long story short, I've done 2 of these since. So I've done 3 altogether. This is a new thing. I'm now the wedding ceremony director, and I'm going to rehearsals and I'm walking people through this stuff. And the one question that I have after we go through everything, and I say it bluntly, if these little kids have a meltdown, what's the backup plan? Because I know mom is sitting there in the aisle ready to get the cute picture of her kid because that's what she's all about. So then we got to think about it. Well, who can we get to stand out there and take care of this? If the kids melt down, you get them out of the way, you delete them, and you just move on with it. If they're cool, let it go. But if it's not cool, what's the backup plan? Because we didn't have one. So that's something that I know now that I didn't know before. That's pretty valuable to know.
Yeah.
I mean, geez, the way this has always worked. I mean, whenever I would get involved in this kind of stuff, as someone who was involved with a wedding, not a DJ, but you go to the rehearsal, and whoever the pastor was or the officiant, it happened in a church. They had a way of doing things, and they told you how it was done, and you did it that way. And the lady who played the organ, those were the songs she played. That's when she played them. That's what you came down to. They just had a way you did it, and you just didn't question it. Now everything's custom. So you've got to. Somebody's here. That's wonderful. So you it's just like the wedding reception. Everything's custom. You've got to go through this list of things and make it happen the way they would like it to happen. It's a lot. So what do DJs do? They don't just play music. They're chilling people out. I'm directing wedding ceremonies now. Facilitating dinner. Oh my gosh. That's a lot of work.
Either that or people get like stampeded over going for the buffet.
Yeah.
Everyone's starving.
Yeah. And I have to do this at every single wedding that I put together. We'll talk and they'll say, "Yeah, we'd like to, have toast and then have dinner." And I'm like, "No, you don't want to do that. You want to have dinner and then have toast." Like, "Well, why?" I'm like, "Because I know your dad said he was going to go 3 minutes, but he's going to go 10. And so is your best man, and so is your maid of honor. And before you know it, you're a half hour backed up on food. Your food's cold now. In the meantime, everybody is sitting there pissed off because they're hungry. Would you shut up already so I get some food in me? I've been here all day." Right?
Yeah, and a lot of times, mediocre.
Food's, I don't know.
I know, but at that point, everyone's starving to death.
It doesn't matter.
I'm
They'll
just
just
saying,
eat
they're
whatever.
waiting for like whatever.
Let's take a look at the chat here. First of all, Lemon asks, what was the head count for this reception? For your reception, what was your head count? Was it like 90?
It ended up being about 100 with all the musicians because I had like 10 different musicians, and
That's right. Well, the family
there was 2 different families.
Yeah. Oh, that's right.
Because I had the harp and the flute outside, and then I had the live music for the ceremony and for like those dances. But with the 10 musicians, it ended up being and the DJ ended up being in the photography ended up being like 100 people.
So 100 people total.
Yeah.
Now, one thing I will say is that what they ended up doing was they got married indoors. By the way, at a place that had never done a wedding before, which makes it fun, right? And then they had a tent outside for food, and then everybody was supposed to go back inside. The room was going to be flipped for dancing. So what that means is there needs to be 2 sound systems because although there was a harpist and whoever else.
Harpist, flute, and then there being 2 flutes and a drum. I thought there was just 1 harp and 1 flute. But
there was a lot of musicians. It was really nice. People really liked it.
People want CDs for Christmas.
Yeah. Your grandpa bought one.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, Grandpa Curtis bought. He told me, I really like that music. I bought their CD and I gave him a little tip.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's awesome. I know
he really
Denise
enjoyed
really
it.
liked it. I think.
Yeah, people really liked it.
Yeah.
They were really good. They were people that you went to school with.
Yeah, the people that I went to college with.
Yeah,
So we were in a club I was in.
it
So like
was
yeah,
really
they're
nice.
awesome.
It was different. It was really nice though. So anyhow, you need a sound system outside, right? Because you got to make announcements. Although the harpist doesn't really need the system, and the musicians don't really need it because they're not singing or anything. Announcements still need to be made.
I didn't think about that.
I did. So
You did.
brought a Maui 5 Go and a battery pack for the wireless microphone receiver and made it happen. And it worked.
It did. It did. And like for the ceremony musicians at first they were like, well, we need this many mics and this much. I'm like, guys, this isn't a very big room.
Oh, I'll get to the ceremony musicians
Okay.
later.
Okay.
I'll get to them later.
Wonderful.
Yeah, wonderful. The they're my mother's neighbors, so she grew up with this family. Um, but anyway, the what happened with the Maui 5, I brought the microphone out there. And remember, we're doing this at a place that has never done a wedding before. This is their first time. So the catering lead grabs the microphone and starts dismissing tables with the microphone, which is fine. I don't mind that she does this. She didn't ask if she could use the mic, but it doesn't matter. Use the mic. Fine, go
I
ahead.
think my mom told her to do it. I think.
Oh, well,
I think because my mom was the one communicating with her.
okay. So I didn't mind that, but I did go up to her and tell her it's great that you use this mic, but please turn it off after you use it. Use the mic, turn the mic off, and next time you want to use it, turn it back on. So what she does is she turns it on, makes the announcement, leaves it on, puts it in her apron pouch, and goes into the building out of range of the microphone. And all of a sudden, we've got interference because it's breaking signal and we hear muffled things and such. So I had to get up out of the chair, run around, and try to find this lady and scold her for leaving the microphone on and taking the microphone out of the room, which was pretty interesting.
Well, but I
Um,
didn't notice it because I don't hear well. My hearing's crappy, so I didn't notice. So maybe it annoyed everyone, 99 people at the wedding, but it didn't bother me.
The speaker was right next to the musicians, though. Can you imagine how distracting that is?
Well, I know, but I didn't even know what was happening.
I'm hearing static and I'm hearing noises, and it's right next to the
Trained
musician's head,
ear.
and so I handled that. But otherwise, it went fine. Speaker was more than enough. It worked
Yeah.
really good for announcements. It was just one.
Because we were in
in
like
the
a
tent.
20 by 40 tent, basically.
Was that 20 by 40?
Well, it was two 20
Sounds
by
about
20s.
right.
So it was 20 by 40
Yeah.
tent, and like it was 100. It was 100 people in it, and some people ended up sitting outside just to like give a little bit more breathing room, but people kind of wanted to mingle anyway, so it was fine.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, it was so, and it had mostly had sides on it, so the sound was contained, but where the speaker was, it was next to like one of the open sides, so there was like kind of that open air with sound waves. So, but it still worked really well for the space.
Cool. No, I thought it was really nice. I think everything worked fine. It wasn't without its hiccups, but it worked fine. She was talking about ceremony musicians. They are, like I said, my mother's neighbors. So when she was tiny, her mother and I split up, and we went to live with my parents. But
Disneyland.
at Disneyland, yeah. Even before that, though, she was there all the time. My father was daycare for her when she was little, so I drop her off. My father had just retired, and we watched her. And the neighbors had a baby like 3 weeks later,
Yeah, no,
or a
she's
month
like,
later.
yeah, she's like 6 weeks older than me.
Okay,
Yeah, younger than me.
younger. 6 weeks later, they had a baby. So there's two babies. You can imagine what that summer was like. They put the two babies together all the time, and they became like best friends.
She was my maid of honor.
She was the maid of honor, right? But this is like the Brady Bunch on, I guess, reproductive hormone pills, because there's 8 of them. There's a lot of people.
Yeah, they have 8 kids, and then some of their kids are married, and they have kids. That was the youngest two, Ring Bear and Flower Girl were.
It's a large tribe, is what I'm saying. And I don't talk to these people. I don't. That's her thing, and that's cool. But they do music. I call them the kumbayas because I always see them with campfires playing guitar, and so I always imagine they're singing kumbaya all the time because it's a family band. My family wasn't. My family would have never done a family band. I'm just telling you, we're not those people. If you knew the rest of my family, you'd understand that. Can you imagine
Yeah, I mean
your
the
aunts and
heirs.
uncles and and your grandma, grandpa, and I in a family band?
But I married the family band type. Like he wants to do that kind of stuff. Like we have a hippie band.
But you got under. I don't. That's weird to me.
Yeah.
That's odd. So anyway, that's who they are, and they're really apparently very serious about that stuff.
They do a lot of weddings.
Well,
But they also do like big cathedrals, so
yeah,
yeah.
they had a lot of back end support demands. To put it,
Yeah.
they wanted special microphones and mic stands and accommodations and things that just weren't going to work.
Well, and what I was trying to tell everybody is like, guys, this isn't a very big room. We probably
Yeah, it's a
don't need
tiny
that much
room.
sound. And they're used to doing these like big like churches where your sound gets lost because you've got like 3-story tall ceilings and archways and stuff.
Yeah.
And so they were thinking that they were gonna need all this stuff. And so he ended up bringing it to the rehearsal, and they were like, "Oh, we don't need it."
Well, no,
You had to bring not everything, but like you had to bring in like some stuff, like what
no,
you thought was reasonable.
I brought that system for you guys.
But you brought like an extra.
I brought an extra microphone for them, and I just said, "Look, this is your mic. You do what you want with it. This is it." And your mic has a switch on it. You turn it on and off. It's a wired mic. It's not even a good mic, but this is your mic. However, you're performing in a large living room. Is kind of what it was.
Yeah, and like we ended up cutting off part of the room too, so they weren't performing even that much too, because we had to put like because there was like a tiki bar back there, and that's not a good backdrop to get married.
The hard part was convincing them that they didn't need all this shit. I mean,
but then when
really,
they got there, they realized they didn't need it.
Well, they were even asking for it at the rehearsal, though.
They were?
Yes.
Oh, because she told me like, and she didn't really need it.
And then they were, there was like I think 3 of them in the corner, and we were trying to get everybody in there for chairs. It was a small space, and the wedding party was sitting there, and the mom comes up to me and says, "Well, this isn't going to work. We've got people sitting here. We need to be here." I'm like, "You're going to have to just get out of the way and make it happen. I know you'll do just fine." So, I mean, it's just, I put that under the category of diva musicians, where, I mean, they're trying to do their job, and it's really important to them, and they're artists, and I get that. But you know what? We can't make all these accommodations for you. You get this and this and this, and you have to work with it. Just like everybody else has to work with what's going on in the space. And they did. And it was fine.
Yeah, it went up, and people like, and there was some.
But I knew them too, kind of, and I could say no, and they couldn't argue with me.
Well, especially because you were dad.
Yeah.
So like you really couldn't argue. Like they might be able to argue with the DJ, but they can't argue with dad.
No, it's like, you know what? You're gonna be just fine. You're gonna have to just work it out because it's what you have. But it was just something I had to do as the DJ. This is not playing music for people. This is all the other crap that I have to do. And there's a lot of stuff. And this is just part of it. I mean, these are things that I have been asked to do. I guess I kind of look at it as the courtesy counter at the grocery store, where that's supposed to be, the old days, that's where you cash your checks and return things. But then it's like, no, we have lottery tickets, we'll put them there too. You know what? We're going to put all the cigarettes there too, because we don't want each counter to have cigarettes. So you're going to do cigarettes as well. And you're going to do the Fresh Perks, club member cards. And you're going to do 75. We're going to put baby formula back there because there's theft. So you're going to do with baby formula. And razors. We are the courtesy counter of the hospitality industry. They just keep shoving shit in our direction that we have to deal with. It never ends. And there's just even more now that I got to do with this ceremony directing, which I think is going to be very lucrative. I've done well with it with the other events that I've done. It's a lot of work, and you have to sacrifice a Friday night to do this. So you can't really do anything else that night. So you have to charge for it.
Can't watch HBO.
But it's a valuable service. You can record things.
I guess that doesn't stop your DVR from working.
It's just a valuable service, I think, that people really do appreciate, and they do really appreciate somebody coming in and directing this stuff. The wedding that I did after Stevie's that I directed, I wasn't planning on directing it, but I was there. There was an officiant there, had experience, but this was a bunch that needed somebody to really kind of take control of things. and she was more kind of passive and whatever. So I happened to have a microphone and a sound system there. I was able to get on the mic and direct people and tell them where to go and kind of be a little more forceful than she was. I knew these people, so I could take those liberties. And then this last weekend was kind of the same thing. But what I did discover is when I'm doing this rehearsal stuff, the best way to do it, I found, and I really like it, is to do it with a microphone. Instead of trying to yell at people, just have a PA system where you're directing people. And I'll tell them, I told them right off the bat, last weekend, I said, look, I'm not on this microphone because, I'm trying to, be obnoxious about it. I'm here because I just don't want to scream. So you can hear me anywhere in this room, anywhere you are here, you can hear me. That's why I'm using the microphone. They're like, oh yeah, we totally understand. So
I feel that because when we were doing family pictures and I ended up having to yell at people, I was like, it was exhausting.
oh, it's terrible.
I was like, all right, anyone? I'm like trying to get the red family picture together, and I said, okay, I need reds. I need someone who is a red, married to a red, a child of a red, or once met a red at a bus station.
Yeah.
I was just trying to get everybody in the picture.
Yeah.
You have to yell, and it's exhausting.
Photographers gotta just hate that.
Yeah.
But it is what it is. And I mean, when you think about it, it's, and I don't mean to make this comparison might sound cruel to some people, but you know what it reminds me of is when you're watching America's Got Talent and they have the animal trainer on there. And the star of the show is the animal. It's the squirrel or the rabbit or whatever it is that's supposed, or the mouse or the dog that's supposed to do the trick. And then you got the animal trainer there who's like telling the animal what to do or giving them the cues or whatever. Now, if the animal does their job, everybody claps for the dog. But if the dog doesn't do his job, everybody boos the trainer. It's not the animal's fault, it's the trainer's fault. It's the same thing with these weddings. It's like we're animal trainers. We're working with people who are amateurs. They've never done this before. And sometimes they're a little drunk. So it's hard. It's hard work. And people don't realize how hard of a task it is until they're a part of it. And then they really appreciate what you actually end up doing. And this is even just for a reception, trying to line people up for a grand entrance, or even trying to get people together for specialty dances, garter tosses, whatever. It doesn't matter. It's a lot of work trying to get amateurs to do things where you got them on stage and you want them to shine. I mean, I'm never the star of the show. I don't ever want to be the star of the show. Anytime that there is any type of, I guess, I hear about these people who do these like love stories and things, and I even know people who stand up and they double as officiants. The DJ wants to marry the couple too. I want nothing to do with any of that. The officiant is the person who's doing most of the talking. They're actually giving like a sermon kind of thing. It seems to me like the officiant is really kind of at least a co-star of the wedding ceremony. Would you agree with that?
I would, but it's not a bad idea for a DJ to be ordained in case like the officiant doesn't show up or something.
Well,
so, like,
that's why we call Jay Brennan Pastor Jay, because he's ordained and he's done it.
It's a good move.
But the courtesy counter's got to draw the line somewhere.
Well, the line is at like a $15 packet on the internet. I'm just saying.
No, I mean, the reality of it, I mean, I'll go back into that, but I'm just saying, I don't want to be that guy who's on stage and I'm performing. If I was a band, yeah, of course I'm a star, I'm performing, even a wedding band or a wedding singer or something like that, but I'm not. I'm the facilitator of events. And that's always been what the DJs been. If you watch, I was talking about this on a live stream, if you watch movies like Saturday Night Fever, there's DJs in that movie, there's club DJs, and you never like see anybody hanging out with them, talking to them, nothing. They're playing music, and they may make an announcement, they may run a contest, but the stars of the show are the dancers in the club. The co-stars are probably the artists on the records the DJ is playing, and the DJ is only the facilitator of these events. That's all they are. They're not a star. So anytime that anyone suggests that the DJ step into the star position, that's when the red flags go up for me. That's just me, and that's how I feel about it. I don't want to do that. That's when it's too much. Now, as far as people And of course, no one asked me on this, by the way. We talked about that. As far as people, having the DJ be the officiant in case the officiant doesn't show up, this is what I told my kid. It was too late when I suggested this because, again, nobody asked me. If you're going to have a family member be the officiant,
Mhm.
why not make it easy on them? Why not sneak into the courthouse the Tuesday morning before the wedding, get married, nobody got to know, it's already legally handled, and just do your theater thing at your actual wedding?
Okay, the
Why
reason
not do that?
it can cost anywhere from $100 to $300 just to get married at like a booth at the courthouse.
It's so worth it though.
Yeah, but
Oh
you
my
don't
God,
always
it's so
have
worth
like
it.
money. Have you throw all this money at this
That's
wedding?
300 well spent.
I
You don't
don't
have to
know.
worry about anything on the day of. It's just theater. Nobody has
I
to
mean,
get
I didn't
ordained
have to do that
online. Nobody
much.
has to do anything. It worked out for you. But I'm just saying, like the wedding I did on Saturday. All
Hmm.
right, his stepdad married them. First
Yeah.
wedding, just got ordained online. Let's say that guy got sick. What are you gonna do? You could just literally have anybody stand up there and say things. They don't have to worry about getting ordained.
Well, okay. One thing that almost got messed up was kind of like the lady at the office when I was having my godmother do it was like, is because my godmother's, she lives in Greece, so her US address is my dad's house.
Yeah.
My ID, I haven't got my ID changed, so I'm gonna wait till after I change my name to get a new ID. So it also had the same address.
I didn't think about that. Yeah.
And his had a New Berlin address. He lives to live like 30 minutes away. And so it was like trying to prove that we lived in a different house, trying to like find utility bills. And like I was explaining, I'm like, oh yeah, so we live together as family, okay. And the lady at the office was like, mm-hmm. But they gave me marriage license and I married AF.
Yeah. You are. Yeah. It's over. It's done. And it's all theater. I mean, I told you that before we walked down. I'm like, look, kid, this is all theater.
Yeah. I've
Just
learned plenty from my second wedding though.
yeah, yeah, you know what to do.
Yeah.
But I mean, she's been working with me and seeing this her whole life, so she kind of got it.
Yeah. That's why I made some decisions I made.
But yeah, it's been an experience for everybody, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Experience that I'm glad is in the past.
yeah, I am too.
The best part of your wedding's the photos.
Even though that I didn't get involved until less than 2 weeks out, I'm still really glad it's over.
Yeah, that's
Especially getting involved 2 weeks out. If I was involved 6 months ago, I could have really made this run smooth for you.
yeah.
But nobody wanted me then.
But I wouldn't have gotten what I
They
wanted.
knew everything.
No, I didn't want to get you involved because I wanted what I wanted. I didn't want you to be like, nope, we're doing it at this location. I'd be like, but I like this place. I'm bad at saying no to you.
That's the thing about putting these together. It's tough because I mean, as a DJ, you kind of know what works and what doesn't work, and you have a client who has these rather ambitious ideas about location and orders of things and music, and I feel like it's our jobs as DJs to kind of give the client some reality on this and say, look, but you got to do it very carefully because you don't want to piss off a bride and tell her she's wrong, but somehow very tactfully you have to say, okay, well, we can do it this way. Here's what we have to work out though. Here are some of the possible pitfalls we have doing it in this way. And then maybe at that point they may say, well, how would you suggest we do it? It's like, okay, here's what I think, and then you put it together in a more realistic fashion, and sometimes they listen, and that's cool when they do. So Robin says everyone should be ordained. It's super easy. I draw the line there. I am not doing it. No way. No way. I'd have my roadie ordained. I don't care about that. I'm
Just
not
make
doing
me
it.
get ordained.
Go ahead. I want nothing to do
I
with
don't
it.
want to
That's
do
too
it.
much. It's too much to ask.
I'm not that
I
friendly.
can organize the ceremony. I can do. Okay, let me just put it this way. When I was doing the rehearsal, I walked everybody through everything twice. They were pretty confident as to what they were doing. They felt pretty good about it. But when it came time to actually do it, I'm the DJ. I am playing the music and doing the cues and all of those things. Who's doing all this stuff if I'm marrying them? And the wedding party's looking at me like, well, who's going to be back here telling us what to do? No one. That's why I'm here tonight telling you what to do. I have another job here. I've got to play the music.
Never cheap out on the rehearsal, people.
Doing the back end support here, doing all the music, doing all the cue stuff. Somebody else can stand up there and perform the ceremony. I want nothing to do with it. Can you imagine a DJ with like some kind of like Bluetooth thing in their pocket where they're playing the music too? Might
I
as well do
mean,
like
someone would do it though.
they probably have. There's probably people watching this here who do it.
Yeah.
That's insanity.
Sounds like it would give you like a heart attack at like 30.
There's no way.
Stress.
Oh my God, no! It's too much. It's let somebody else do this shit. It's too much stuff. It's a lot. I mean, what I'm doing for the ceremony directing is more than enough work. And then when they have big wedding parties and everybody's got their own personality you have to deal with, it gets even more fun. And sometimes that personality involves alcohol at certain points.
Some people use alcohol instead of having a personality.
Yeah, that's true. But then you'd rather them not have the personality, so you can they tell them what to do and they do it. But no, it's not what. But let's wrap this up here. Let's just wrap this up. We're talking about getting ordained. We're talking about all of these things here. But remember what we started talking about. What does a DJ really do? What does a wedding DJ do? Well, by definition, a mobile wedding DJ would be somebody who showed up at your event and played songs for you. Not the star of the show, just somebody to play these songs for you or play some songs. But that's not really what we do. We do everything else.
Master of ceremony.
We are the courtesy counter, and we don't particularly like being the courtesy counter. But look, if I've got to sell lottery tickets and baby formula and razor blades and all this other crap, so I can do check cashing, which is what I really wanted to do, I'll do all that crap. But I do it because I want to do check cashing.
That was your dream.
Well,
Then you became a DJ instead.
That's what I signed up for. Well, okay. Listen, it's like Uncle Dave. Okay, Uncle Dave was a firefighter,
Yeah.
and he loved being a firefighter. This guy was on the cover of the New York Times multiple times as a firefighter. Just human interest stories. You know,
He was the guy who.
he wasn't from New York.
He was a firefighter whose foot got ran over at the Indianapolis 500 in like 2005-ish.
He got hit by a car,
Yeah.
and it made all the papers and the news.
David Letterman's team.
Yeah, David Letterman.
He was a fan of David Letterman, and David Letterman mentioned him in an interview, and that was like, bomb.
So that was Uncle Dave's thing. He loved being a firefighter. But then, somewhere along the way, he had to be a paramedic and EMT. He had to learn how to do that and resuscitate people. And he didn't want to do that. That's not what he signed up for. But he had to do it as part of his job. And it caused problems because he wasn't doing what he signed up to do.
Yeah.
You know, he had to do these other things that he didn't like doing, and they really bothered him. I try to adapt as a DJ. I really do. And I try to fall into these positions that need to be filled because nobody else will do them. But you got to draw the line somewhere. And again, I'm drawing it at becoming ordained. I won't do it. I will not do it. I thought it would be great for her. I told her this. I said, go to the church, go to the courthouse, get married, and then instead of having Cheryl there to marry you, get our parrot, Camaro. Put him on a perch and set him up there to like squawk for 3 minutes.
He wouldn't. He would just say hi to everyone and
Just
then
say
do his
hi.
creepy
Just
laugh.
laugh and say hi to people for 3 minutes and then turn around and walk back down the aisle and say the bird married you. That would have been fine. Who cares? It doesn't matter. It's all theater.
I guess.
I don't know. I'm glad you're happy though.
I am happy.
I don't think like a bride. I think like a guy. And I think guys are more practical than women sometimes. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
Not always. We know that
Yeah.
for a fact.
I'm quite practical at times.
Well, let me put it another way. A, a, just anybody is going to be more practical than a bride to be. How's that sound?
Okay, but I was actually pretty reasonable.
You were. You were.
Imagine if I was like, bitch about it.
Well, you knew better.
Yeah, because my mom made me watch a lot of Bridezilla growing up.
And you experienced this firsthand with me.
Yeah, I mean, I'd
You
been to
saw
so many
this-
weddings.
yeah.
It was like,
And you saw the stress that I go through trying to put
Yeah.
this crap together for people week of.
yeah.
And they're them calling me about ridiculous things 6 months out. It's like, don't call me now.
Yeah.
We have nothing to talk about right now because you're going to change your mind 12 times before the week of your wedding. So why do I bother even putting this together right now?
Right before my wedding, I just gave up on like life. I was just like, whatever happens will happen. Maybe the whole place will burn down. I don't know.
It worked out though. So this was a weird broadcast tonight, but Stevie was here and thought it would be fun to jump in and talk a little bit about this stuff. But that's it. We're going to go ahead and end the broadcast now. So what I got to do is figure out if I know how to end the broadcast. But I think we're just going to turn this thing off and hopefully it just stops. Anything else you want to say before we kill this?
I regret nothing. I refuse to leave. That's why I'm here.
Yeah. Well, she lives down the road now. So what are you, a mile and a half away or not even?
Yeah, I bought him like a mile away. I came here to show off the fact that I got my dog groomed, and then I just didn't want to go home. Sounded like a lot of work.
Yeah, grandma's dog groomed.
Well, yeah, but he's my dog for 10 more days.
Yeah, grandma's out of town, so she's dog sitting.
He looks very
She's very happy with the way the dog turned out. So anyway, that's it. Kind of a different show tonight. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll be back next time, presumably with our regularly scheduled programming. Take care, everybody. Good night.